Hello, parents. I, Leena Raut, welcome you all on GenX Parenting. Today on GenX Parenting, we are going to talk about a very, very important topic, that is things to consider as you plan an education abroad for your children. We are going to cover this topic in two parts. In first part, we are going to talk with an industry expert, the counselors, about the technical details of the process of planning an education abroad, so that all of you are aware about the nitty-gritties of it. And in second part, we are going to talk to a psychologist so that we can help our children prepare better for this independent stint in a different country, witnessing different cultures. So for the first technical part, let us welcome our expert, Ms. Priti Mehta Commissariat. Ms. Preeti is an educator. She has been an editor with rich 20 years of industry experience. She is a British Council certified counselor for education in UK. She is a CELTA certified English language expert, and she's an NLP practitioner too. Let's welcome Ms. Preeti and get going with this vlog. Hello, Preeti. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you, Lena?
I'm
Good
good.
to see you.
Yeah, welcome to GenX Parenting and thanks so much for your time today. So, Preeti, पहले सवाल के साथ शुरू करते हैं that going for an education abroad, it's a big decision considering the cost involved, considering the important life years that a student is investing into it, and the parents are also investing a lot into it. So, keeping all these things in mind, what do you think are the factors that students and parents also should consider while taking this a very, very crucial decision?
First of all, I totally agree with you, Lena, that it is indeed a huge investment. And I cannot emphasize enough on the fact that parents and children should plan meticulously. Okay, start early. Like they should, if they want to send their child for an undergraduate degree after their 12th standard, I think they should start talking about it from ninth standard onwards, talking about it, which often happens, which is the normal. I have seen it with parents that they've already told their children since eighth standard that you are going to go abroad and all. But yes, there should be meticulous planning financially and deeply research the various destinations that are options for you and your child. What fits into your budget? What do you wish? What does your child like? Rather, a parent should not impose. Parents' part is to arrange for the finances. That's what I believe. Having said that, they should be researching on the universities available in popular destinations. Like, for instance, they want to send them to US or Canada or UK. What are the national universities? What are the private universities? How much does a state university cost? How much does a private university cost? What is their budget? And explain to the child as well what the finances and budget of the family is. Different destinations will have approximately different budgets. For example, if you're looking at Canada, the costs will range between 12,000 to 15,000 Canadian dollars on the lower side, and it can go all the way up to 35 to 45,000 Canadian dollars for a year if you're going for a master's program or a research degree later. Okay, so it will be like 35 to 40 lakhs per year. Okay, if you're looking at Canada. For US, the budgets can go, there are 5,000 universities in the US versus 100 something in other destinations. So out of those 5,000 universities, if you remove all those non-accredited, not licensed, rubbish universities, take away 1,500, even then, you've got 3,500 universities to shop from as far as US goes. So the lowest can be 20 lakhs per year, and your highest budget can go all the way up to 60, 80 lakhs per year. So again, I emphasize budgeting is very important, and it does not mean that the costlier the university, the better it is. Okay. If you're looking at the UK, it's comparatively cheaper because UK master's degrees are 1 year compared to 2 years master's degrees in US and Canada. So your budget will be brought down to straight up half. So you can do a master's degree from the UK and get out in 1 year and spend 20 to 25 lakhs on an average per year. Australia again is believed to be expensive, 25 to 30 lakhs average cost per year. These are, of course, approximate, you know, ballpark figures that I'm sharing with you. There is a new one upcoming destination, Europe, which is coming up a lot these days. The students are coming asking for European options. They want to study in Hungary, they want to study in Czech Republic, they want to study in Ireland, Finland, and we are helping them. So it would so Hungary, for instance, has options that are up to 7,000 euros a year. So like, how cheap is that? And you get really recognized ranked universities.
Okay.
So, as you said, nowadays children and parents are spoiled for options. And again, I want to underline bold and italics. Please do your own research and start early.
Yeah, that was very interesting because it's very important that when you're investing so much of time and cost, the return on investment also should be very well thought through. The country's
Yes,
political scenario, the relations, the stability of the economy, all these factors are also very important. So, parents, I would insist that
absolutely.
you pay attention to various options and not just get hooked on to one particular thing or follow that herd mentality that isne yahan gaya, mera friend gaya, mera cousin gaya, and that's why I'm going. So do your own research is the bottom line of all these things. One
I'm
very
so happy. I'm so happy that you said the word herd mentality because I completely agree with you that yes, your reason should to go abroad should not be because my cousin is there and my kaka lives over there. कि
yeah,
मेरा दोस्त वहां पे गया है, मेरी क्लासमेट उधर है, मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड उधर है. That should not be the reason to study abroad. You need to have reasons far bigger and larger than those
yeah.
for you to decide whether you want to study abroad or whether you want to study in India.
Yes, the
Of
long-term
course, the
career plan should be in place for everyone.
yes,
It should have
yes,
future. The subjects that you're talking about, it should have future, and it should be in sync with the ongoing changes. So along with the budgets, along with the university, the statement of purpose is what the universities also ask for. It should be very strong, very logical, and one should study the complete scenario of the country that you are choosing because ultimately you're going to live there for at least 2 years or more than that if you're going to work also there. So work conditions, all these things needs to be taken care of. You mentioned one very important.
you mentioned, can I stop you there? You
Yes, yes.
mentioned statement of purpose, Lena. You know what is the standard practice of students who go to these study abroad agencies,
Hmm.
if I may call them?
Yes.
Most 90% of the statements of purpose are a copy paste of what the format of a format that is given to the students by
Okay.
their counselors. Children don't understand the importance of a statement of purpose. It is your personal statement. Understand, the university panel, the selection panel is not meeting you in person.
Hmm.
They are going to know all about you through this 800 or 900 word statement of purpose, which is your personal statement. This is your chance to tell them all about you, where you're coming from, what is your planning, why you want to come to that country, that university, why do you wish to study this program, and what is your future like, where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years down the line. So this is a chance for you to present yourself in words to the selection panel of the university. And I'm sorry to say, but it cannot be a copy paste of a format given to you by your counselor. It cannot, because 90% of these SOPs that the university selection panel gets are all the same. And trust me, they're not going to waste their time reading it. I'm being very forthright and honest. So, yes, spend some time on building a strong SOP.
That's very important. Another important thing which you mentioned, that US may be having 5,000 universities, but you have to remove the rubbish ones. So understanding the
The
rubbish ones.
non-licensed and non-accredited ones,
Yes.
the
So what
private
are the
institute.
accredited ones then? If you could help us understand that, I think that would be very valuable information. That what is it that one should look out for? हमें क्या देखना चाहिए जब हम universities का screening कर रहे हैं? If there are certain things that we should be careful about, please highlight them.
See, when a parent and a student comes and meets us, they know very well कि ranking क्या होता है. ओके, हमें रैंक्ड यूनिवर्सिटी में जाना है, हमें आईवी लीग यूनिवर्सिटीज में जाना है, हमें तो टॉप यूनिवर्सिटीज में जाना है. सो what I want to say is ranking is not important. Nobody has appointed those ranking agencies like Times Higher Education or Forbes, yeah, US News. They have not been officially appointed to sit and rank the institutions. Guys, please understand. The rankings are unofficial and they are important, but not the first priority. What is important is for you to make sure that the program, the university that that you're applying to is accredited. Okay, accreditation is what is the most important. That वो program को मान्यता प्राप्त हुआ है from the accreditation board, like how we have NAAC in India. Okay, NAAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, accredited by NAC or accredited by UGC, Universities Grants, Commission. What is more important, ranking नहीं है, accredited program होना चाहिए. What do you understand by accredited programs? सो accredited प्रोग्राम वो होना चाहिए जो ऑफिशियली उस कंट्री के एक्रेडिटेशन बोर्ड ने उसको मान्यता प्रदान किया है. एंड इट इज द प्रोग्राम, वो अपना खुद का नहीं चला रहे. कॉलेज एंड यूनिवर्सिटी इज नॉट डूइंग देयर ओन थिंग. दे हैव टू design and deliver the program as per the accreditation board's guidelines and as per the industry standards. मतलब कि जो आप पढ़ के 3 साल में 4 साल में बैचलर्स डिग्री में से निकलोगे, वो प्रोग्राम ऐसा होना चाहिए कि जिसको इंडस्ट्री, जो मार्केट है जहाँ पे आप जॉब्स ढूंढने जाओगे, वो इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड्स के हिसाब से आपको पढ़ाया गया है, so that you can apply for a job and you will be considered, your degree will be recognized. Okay, so the programs are affiliated as per the rules of the accreditation bodies and boards. For example, Council of Higher Education and Accreditation, CHEA, and ACBSP, Accredited Council of Business Schools. ये सारे जो है वो MBA, AMBA, there's AMBA accreditation, there's ACBSP accreditation. These are MBA programs which you will find on the web page of that program. Accreditations भी आप अगर उसके search box में डालोगे, you will be able to see whether the program has been accredited by a board. Engineering में जा रहे हो तो you make sure that ABET, ABET, Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology Programs का accreditation उसको मिला हुआ हो. Similarly, students who are going for dental programs or medical programs or physiotherapy programs, those programs also need to be accredited by the American Bar Association for the law programs, for example. So please, awareness मैं इसके थ्रू फैलाना चाहती हूँ कि rankings के पीछे मत भागो. Rankings are not important. Accredited program होना चाहिए, उसको मान्यता मिलना चाहिए, so that it's valid in America, Canada, UK, Australia, wherever. सिंगापुर में जाके आपको जॉब करना है, दुबई में जॉब करना है, इंडिया वापस आके जॉब करना है. For that, this is important that you have studied at a program at a university which is an accredited one.
So, as you have mentioned about this very important point, what are the other things that you think the student should pay attention to, या और कौन सी चीजें हमें देखनी चाहिए जो कभी कभी ओवरलुक हो जाती है?
Once they figure out that I want to do a bachelor's program in the sciences or bachelor's program in biotechnology, or I want to do a bachelor's program in business, they'll be applying to more than one university. Obviously, they'll be applying to 4 or 5 universities. They all will be offering a similar program, correct? So, what I would suggest is for them to open up the program module and compare the modules, compare the syllabus. Okay, what is it that A university is doing? What is it that the B university is offering me? What are the common subjects or common factors in A and B program? What is it that extra that A is giving me? What is it that B is giving me? First, put together the similarities and then look at the uniqueness of each program, and let your child decide that, okay, this appeals to me. This program is allowing me to pursue my bachelor's along with sports. I want to select this university. Second thing, very important, application deadlines. Each university will have a unique and different application deadline. Okay, the deadlines will be mentioned on individual program page on the university website. Even if you're working individually on your own or working with a counselor, please do not leave everything on them. You have to check the application deadline. So, for instance, if you want to apply for the September 2024 intake, you know, there will be priority and early deadlines which will fall in the previous year, or 2023, September of 2023, October of 2023, November of 2023. Why should you apply early? You should apply early if you want to be considered for scholarships, if you want to be considered for early decisions. Because if you apply early, your decision will come early on, which is Jan, Feb. And if you have 2, 3 decisions by Jan or Feb in your hand, it will be less anxiety on your part to decide on what university to finalize, rather than keep waiting till the last moment कि अभी हमारे ऑफर्स नहीं आए, अभी हमारे ऑफर्स नहीं आए, वीजा के लिए भी अप्लाई करना है, ये भी अप्लाई करना है, फाइनेंसेस भी अरेंज करना है. Next thing that brings me to the most important, Lena, your question, what else to keep in mind is that to have your budget plan ready. This is absolutely a must. Parents को students को अपने साथ बिठाना चाहिए, अपने family के finances को समझाना चाहिए कि this is where we have this investment, land में हमारे पास इतना है, हमारा प्रॉपर्टी का वैल्यूएशन इतना है, हमारे पास सेविंग्स में इतना है, हम इसमें से तेरा स्टूडेंट तुम्हारा स्टडीज को फाइनेंस करेंगे. And understand, so far you've not involved your child into your family finances, but once you have decided to send him or her away for 3 years for an undergraduate degree or for 2 years for a postgraduate degree, please explain your family finances to your child, so they understand what has gone into the planning. They understand the value of this. And some parents may not have family finances. Some of them take a student loan.
Yes.
तो स्टडी लोन है तो ऑब्वियसली बच्चे के नाम पे है. पर्सनल लोन अगर लिया है तो पेरेंट के नाम पे होगा. That also explain to your child. But I think it's a good idea that if you are sending your child who is above 18, okay, so उनके नाम पे आप बेशक गारंटर बन जाओ कि if he or she is not able to repay, you take the guarantee, but take a student loan in your child's name and put that onus on your child that I have a loan in my name and I better do this program well. I better attend the classes. I better not waste my time over there. I better make something out of this, and I better pay it up, as fast as I can upon completion of my studies and upon the tenure of the loan. So, no.
So coming to the next question now, we discussed about cost, we discussed about understanding the curriculum, we discussed about planning it through, we discussed about deciding finances and making children part of it. Okay. And now talking about another scenario which the Ukraine war introduced to all of us, that political situation can change, and it can change drastically. It can impact even somebody who is from other country, and so many children, they came back and they had a hard time being a part of the curriculum in India. Okay, so keeping this learning in mind, I would say, I wouldn't call it as a crisis, I would say it's a learning for all of us, that any countries that you think uh, may have gone out of the priority list in past few years or in coming few years, because of the political scenario, because of the economical scenario, or because of this war kind of a situation, any countries you would I would say not recommend नहीं बोलूंगी, but alarmed, be aware about it and take an informed decision when you're opting for these countries. So any such information that you would like to share?
That I would not say not recommend anymore, but there are certain administrative decisions which are being taken. Even India is undergoing a correction in the educational system. So is Canada, so is UK. And yes, there is a severe crisis, not just in Ukraine and Russia, but in the UK, in Canada, there is healthcare is a challenge. Housing is a challenge. I would not say I no longer recommend, but yes, Canada, which used to be one of the most popular destinations in the last almost 2 decades, that's the largest number of students used to go to Canada. अभी कनाडा ने क्या किया है कि स्ट्रेट अवे उन्होंने जो लिविंग एक्सपेंसेस है वो डबल कर दिए from this January onwards. That's a big change which has come. So a student who was studying in 10,000 CAD, Canadian dollars per year, is now straight up expected to show 20,000 Canadian dollars as living expense. That is going to impact the influx into Canada. Canada also has put a cap on the visas that will be issued. So there is compared to 2022 and 2021, there is going to be a 35% decrease in the visas that will be issued. This is a decision by the Canadian government. Okay, Canada used to allow spouses and partners to join students who are going for postgraduate diploma degrees, and the spouses, the partners, used to have full-time rights to work from day one in Canada. That has completely stopped. The student who now wants to go for a master's degree or a research degree at a university will only be allowed to travel to Canada with a dependent or a partner or a wife or a husband, and only they will be granted the rights to work full time, which means that 1 year के जो PG diplomas थे, उसके जो उन लोग के जो wives and children थे, वो लोग जाके उनके पास वर्क राइट्स नहीं है, ड्राइविंग राइट्स नहीं है, तो क्या करेंगे? इट्स गोइंग टू बी एन एडेड एक्सपेंस. So all that has stopped because Canada is also facing severe crisis in terms of housing, in terms of healthcare. There are long waiting. King Charles was asked to wait for 15 days or something for his surgery, that we see in news. So yeah,
So it's not an
um,
attractive destination anymore, which used to be. Yeah.
there is no such thing. See, like I said, I cannot emphasize enough on the fact that go where you want to, where your program takes you, where what you want to study hard, do your graduation, get your experience, work experience in that international market so that you get exposure, and then come back to India, because India looks comparatively better than other countries. Of course, there is going to be crisis now, Lena. Let's face it. Crisis hoti rahegi in the times to come. So the children of this day and age are going to have it tougher than what we had. So truth be told, I'm being very honest and you know.
Platform is meant to be honest. That's not a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Preeti, now coming to a very important question, that what are the myths which are associated with education abroad? Because it is an important thing, because abroad education has been, it's a fascinating thing, but sometimes it could be a fad also, or sometimes it could be cluttered by so many misunderstandings and confusions also. So, if you could highlight some of the myths and address them with the facts.
Very good question, Lena. I'm glad you asked. So, first and foremost, for any middle class family, अगर बच्चा घर पे जाता है बोलता है मुझे विदेश जाना है पढ़ाई करने के लिए, तो सबसे पहले तो एक मिथ है कि इट इज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव, which it is. But nowadays, if you calculate, Indian colleges like Parul University are as expensive. Plus, the quality of education that you're getting in Indian colleges is, I would say, the comparatively colleges abroad give you far better quality of education, having spent that much amount. Okay. So first and foremost, the it's a myth that it's expensive. No, there are options available for every budget. Okay, in universities abroad. So if you want to look for a low budget university, it is available. Living expense का अगर आप देखने जाओ तो it is actually up to the students standard of living. आप जैसे रहना चाहते हो, जैसे आप खाना पीना चाहते हो, so of course अगर आप रोज बाहर का खाना खाओगे वहां जाके, तो आपका लिविंग एक्सपेंस एंड खाने पीने का खर्चा बढ़ेगा. So I want to tell parents that if you want to send your child abroad, whether it's a girl or a boy, teach them how to cook. Second myth is कि only Ivy League universities या top universities या prestigious institutions ही अच्छा education provide करेगी. नहीं, जैसे हमने podcast में early discuss किया कि the university may be a lesser known university, but as long as they are running accredited, मान्यता प्राप्त recognized programs, you will get the value for your money spent on education. Okay, so yes, for those who have all the money in the world, for them, Ivy Leagues and prestigious institutions, Princeton, Harvard, Duke, उसमें भेजो बेशक, and spend 80 lakhs, 90 lakhs, 1 crore a year and get a bachelor's degree. But ऐसा नहीं है कि only top institutions and top ranked institutions ही अच्छा education provide करती है. It's not so. It's for middle class parents and students. You should look at the state universities, because comparatively private से state universities जो है वो काफी cheaper होती है. Because as we know कि international student को 3 times 4 times fees pay करनी पड़ती है rather than a citizen over there. A citizen of that country will be able to study in the same institution for one third or one fourth the price, and as a international students you'll be required to pay 3 times more. But the good news is that these universities have a lot of funding available for students who deserve those that funding. So if you are somebody who's a 60% or 65% holder in your undergraduate, you can be offered a good scholarship by American universities, by UK universities. However, the key to getting that university scholarship is merit based. It's not need based. आप ये किसी अमेरिकन या कनेडियन या यूके यूनिवर्सिटी को नहीं कह सकते कि मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है, मुझे ग्रांट दो, मुझे पढ़ने आना है. इट इज नॉट फॉर इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स. You will have to compete for the scholarships on the basis of your merit. So get your grades, get your GPAs high, and then if you apply really early, by the early deadlines, early consideration deadlines, then you will be considered for a scholarship. And scholarships go all the way up to almost 50% to 80, 90% in some universities. You just need to do your research. Again, I'm coming back to the fact that do your research. Okay. Even Indian government has a lot of aid available to Indian students to go study abroad. British Council is offering scholarships. Fulbright is also offering scholarships to Indian students who want to study abroad. But it is extremely competitive. Let me tell you that nothing's going to be easy, but you can compete for that. Um, Third myth जो मेरे मन में आ रहा है वो नीलीना शायद ये होगा कि वीजा के को लेकर एक बहुत हवा होता है, एक बहुत डर होता है कि वीजा तो बहुत ही एक बहुत डिफिकल्ट चीज है. बट नो, कीप योर पेपर वर्क completely meticulous. Make sure that you're following the right procedures right from application stage to offer acceptance stage to preparation for visa. एंड वीजा में खाली दो ही चीज इंपॉर्टेंट होती है. एक कि आपने राइट इंस्टीट्यूशन राइट प्रोग्राम सिलेक्ट की है विच अलाइंस विथ योर previous history, academic history, and it aligns with your future plans, which are concrete, which should make sense from where you're coming, what you're planning to do right now, and where do you want it to take you. So if this is in line, it's aligned well,
Yeah,
तो ये प्लान आपका अगर सही है तो वीजा में आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम आनी नहीं चाहिए बिकॉज यू आर अ क्रेडिबल स्टूडेंट. The mark sheets and the transcripts and the degree certificate should be
proper.
proper. They should You should not be using forged documents. अगर आपने डॉक्यूमेंट्स फॉर्ज किए हैं तो वो कहीं ना कहीं आप पकड़े जाओगे. यूनिवर्सिटीज इंस्टीट्यूशंस एंड वीजा ऑफिसेज डू हैव चेकर्स. They do have plagiarism checkers. They do have document authentication services. They have evaluators, professional evaluators that will, make sure that your mark sheets and transcripts are authentic. They are not उसको कहीं आपने
Pampering.
ये नहीं,
Yeah.
यस टैम्पर नहीं किया है. सो वो सब है. एंड अनदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट, द
Mm.
सेकेंड इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज दैट वेदर यू हैव द फाइनेंसेस टू पे फॉर योर ट्यूशन फीस एंड टू सस्टेन योर सेल्फ फॉर द
Okay.
पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इन दैट कंट्री. सो फाइनेंसेस अगर आप सही से दिखाओ, सही से प्लान करो, फॉर दैट अगेन आई वुड लाइक टू एम्फोसाइज के ईयर और टू पहले से प्लानिंग जरूरी है ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ द फैमिली. Then your visa will not be difficult. And of course, you make sure that while application to the visa, जो आप visa में आप form fill कर रहे हो, उसमें जो है वो authentic, honest information fill कीजिए. जो नहीं है उसको मत बताइए. जो है आपका, अगर एक previous student visa या visitor visa refuse हुआ है तो बेशक उसको बताइए आप कि मेरा previous में visa rejection का history है. You cannot conceal any decision. And if that happens, then the myth that visa is going to be difficult is not true. Truth is कि आपको visa मिलेगा.
Absolutely. Another myth that I would like to point also that, like in India, when you do MBA and all, we used to check that job guarantee kitna hai. So, is this a myth or is this is a misconception that when you do a particular course, job would be guaranteed, or there are certain institutions if they're planning, if they're proposing so, is that a myth or and what is the fact then?
That the fact is that jobs will not be guaranteed by any university. There is no guarantee for anything. Jobs will be coming to those who are eligible and skilled enough for that job. Say if I'm an employer and you are just fresh out of a university, okay, आपने यूएस की यूनिवर्सिटी से जॉब किया है और आप वापस इंडिया आए हो, और मेरे पास एक ही सीट है और एक दूसरा बच्चा जो इंडिया में से पढ़ के आया है. आई एम गोइंग टू सिलेक्ट द पर्सन हु इज स्किल्ड इनफ फॉर माई जॉब. मुझे इससे कोई फर्क पड़ना नहीं चाहिए कि वेदर आप यूएस से पढ़ के आए हो या इंडिया से पढ़ के आए हो. वो आपका इंटरव्यू या आपका जो प्रोफाइल है, आपका रेज्यूमे है, और आप कैसे मेरे ऑफिस में इंटरव्यू के लिए आपने परफॉर्म किया एज एन एम्प्लॉयर, मैं वही देखूंगा. इनफैक्ट इंडिया में तो ऐसा बहुत होता है कि यूएस से आया है, उसको मुझे ज्यादा पैसे देने पड़ेंगे, मैं क्यों इसको हायर करूं,
Hmm.
क्योंकि इसको. So you have to make sure that whatever value that you have got from your US education, you're actually bringing that to the table. Even jobs in US and Canada after your studies are over, they
Get
are going to be competitive. They are going to be competitive. Having said that, your universities will help you. There is a university employment help desk where the market is coming. The HR teams are coming to the university, and campus placements do happen.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. But for that, you will have to prove yourself that you are worth and right for the job, and then you will be getting the job. There is no guarantee. Any university will not be able to guarantee that the entire batch that is passing out will get a job. You
Okay.
know, everybody has to fight for their place here.
And now the last question about the challenges. So we have covered the financial challenges, we have covered the challenges with respect to lifestyle, the adaptation related thing. So I would just pick one.
Adaptation, say, I'm glad you mentioned adaptation. um, there is a myth that adapting to a new culture and new country and climate kar lenge yaar, you know. So another myth that fact is कि शुरू शुरू में आपको डिफिकल्टी होएगी,
Okay.
बिकॉज होना ही है. आप लोनली फील करोगे, वहां पे आप एलियनेटेड फील करोगे, वहां पे आपको हो सकता है कि रेशियल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन फेस करना पड़े, वहां पे हो सकता है कि आपको वेदर सूट ना करे. आपको पूरा जैसे कि आप इंडिया से कनाडा चले गए तो आपको कनेडियनाइज होने में 6 मंथ्स टू 8 मंथ्स तो लगेगा. तो वो एक आपका एडजस्टमेंट पीरियड है. एंड आई थिंक स्टूडेंट्स शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि 2-3 महीने में अच्छा मुझे नहीं फा रहा है, मैं घर आ रहा हूँ वापस, ये नहीं चलेगा. यू नो, यू विल फेस हार्डशिप्स, यू विल, क्योंकि अभी तक आपको सब पेरेंट्स ने बहुत पैम्पर करके रखा है. एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम योर लॉन्ड्री टू योर फूड टू योर हाउस रेंट टू योर यूनिवर्सिटी क्लासेस टू बी पंक्चुअल in the classes, to find a part-time job over a weekend, everything you'll have to do on your own. And understand that you are on your own, and this is something that should be another learning process for you. So आपको लोनली फील होगा, आपको रोना आएगा, आपको लगेगा कि बहुत होमसिक हो आप, तो ऑब्वियसली लगेगा, क्यों नहीं लगेगा. लेकिन इसको आपको इंड्योर करना है, इसके लिए आपको स्ट्रांग बनना है, इसके लिए बातें जरूरी है. देयर शुड बी डायलॉग एट होम. पेरेंट्स के साथ बात करो, अपने काउंसलर, जो भी एजुकेशन एजेंट्स एंड काउंसलर्स हैं, उनको ये कंडीशनिंग करना पड़ेगा अपने स्टूडेंट्स के साथ, कि उनको बताओ कि यू नो, टॉक टू पीपल. दैट्स द ओनली वे. मेक फ्रेंड्स. यू कैन नॉट एलियनेट योर सेल्फ. आप वहां जाके सिर्फ गुजराती को नहीं ढूंढ सकते हो. मेक फ्रेंड्स विद एवरी डिफरेंट. इट्स अ मेल्टिंग पॉट ऑफ कल्चर्स. So
Yes.
you have to get that international experience, and adapting will be difficult. But humans are, हमारा तो यूएसपी ये है कि we are the best adapters, you know.
This is very important point that you brought about, and I would like to hereby tell all the parents that we are going to take this up separately with the psychologist, that how to mentally adapt yourself and sustain during these challenging times. That okay, this
बहुत
is what I
important.
have decided, and I will live up to that, and I will prepare myself better to sustain these conditions. And now the last thing that about certain countries, that there are certain countries which are language conscious. So, do you think one has to learn, like France or Germany or Czech Republic you mentioned earlier? So, how does the language becomes a challenge for Indian students who are, despite of being an English speaking audience, it could be a little difficult for them to find jobs or to adapt to the culture. Is it a challenge?
The answer is yes and no. Because if you decide to study in Hungary, and or the local language, the Dutch language, um, you also need to, as a student, as a new person in that country, you also need to make efforts to learn their local language. बिकॉज ये आपका आपका आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी है, राइट. अच्छी बात ये है कि प्रोग्राम्स इन हंगरी, चेक रिपब्लिक, फ्रांस, जर्मनी, even Russia, they are offered in English language. So students can go to a program which is entirely delivered in the English language. You don't have to study in German or Russian language. And they have an inbuilt module within the program with basics of their local language. But it entirely depends on the student's interest. So एक स्टूडेंट को अगर आप नॉन इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग कंट्री में 2 साल या 3 साल बिताने की प्लान कर रहे हो, तो आपके प्लान में ये चीज भी होनी चाहिए कि मुझे यहाँ की लोकल लैंग्वेज लर्न करनी है, ओके, सो दैट आपके पास वो एक एडेड लैंग्वेज स्किल रहेगा. एंड जॉब्स जैसे कि रेस्टोरेंट्स है एंड ऑल दैट, जहाँ पे आपको कितने सारे कस्टमर्स आएंगे जो इंग्लिश नहीं बोल पाते ठीक से, तो उनके साथ में आपको थोड़ा इंटरेक्शन उनके लैंग्वेज में करोगे तो आपके लिए भी अच्छा रहेगा. इट विल बी हेल्पिंग यू विथ योर जॉब दिस थिंग. You cannot exceed the allowed limit of a part-time job, which is 20 hours per week. Because understand, on a student visa you are a full-time student and a part-time whatever extra that you want to be. You cannot say मैं रात को क्लबिंग गया था तो नेक्स्ट डे मैं क्लासेस अटेंड नहीं करूंगा, बिकॉज आपका डिग्री भी आपको तभी मिलेगा जब आपने अटेंडेंस ठीक से किया हो, एग्जाम्स ठीक से पास किया हो, कोई भी सब्जेक्ट में आपका बैकलॉग नहीं है. एंड स्टूडेंट को जो प्रोग्राम कंप्लीट करने के बाद जो PSW मिलता है, पोस्ट स्टडी वर्क अलाउंस. So PSW is very much dependent on the NOC by the university that you've studied in. If you've not performed well, if you've not attended classes, if you've not done your program well, आपको NOC नहीं मिलेगा और देन आपको PSW भी नहीं मिलेगा. सो पार्ट टाइम जॉब्स के चक्कर में डोंट थिंक कि मेरा खर्चा निकल जाएगा पार्ट टाइम जॉब से. नहीं निकलता है. दैट इज द रीजन योर पेरेंट्स आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू शो द मनी, शो द फाइनेंसेस in their account at the time of visa. That money has to be kept aside for your living and sustenance and food expenses.
Yes.
But challenges will come, and face the challenges, and on the other side you'll come out as a better person, a skilled
Yeah.
human being who's qualified, who's adapt to all challenges. कि कोई भी चैलेंज है आने दो, मैं फेस कर लूंगा. ये बन के निकलना है हमें on the other side of the program.
Priti, thank you so much for such a broad perspective, such a detailed sharing of information, and being so brutally honest and yet so gentle. So thank you so much for the time. Parents, if you think this video was useful, don't forget to subscribe to GenX Parenting. For any further questions, share the same in the comments, and we would request Priti to address them to best of her capabilities. We will be sharing the contact details. If you want to have a personal conversation and guidance from Priti and her institute, you can reach out to them. Thank you so much.